Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Ox Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Big Book, aka Ox, and do me a favor. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that like button for me, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I drop any new content. All right, over the weekend, Saturday, two games that I really wanted to go over. One, of course, is Michigan. You know I'm a Michigan fan. And it's been a rough year for us. I didn't think it would be this rough. I knew it would be a rebuilding year, but I didn't think it would be this rough. And it is, due to not only players leaving for the NFL, but also the inability to have a quarterback who is competent, and lack of depth. Everything will get a lot better next year, Michigan fans. It will get a lot better next year. And to all the Michigan State and Ohio State people, and it's just you two, because no other fan base cares. But you guys who continuously get hurt because of the national championship from last year, you always try to throw little digs. What do you see if they're not that great in first and second half now because they don't know the plays, or it's because we lost 15 people to the NFL, and then the people who are taking those guys' place aren't as good. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Nobody cares but you guys. You know why? Because everybody was doing it. And if you're on your own little planet and you think you weren't doing it, then okay. We just had the best coach on the roster at scouting. There you go. Our scout was better than yours. Every team, every school does it. But if you're that naive to believe that, then, hey, I don't know what to tell you. But we'll see. As the years go on, we'll see who was right. The national championship ain't going anywhere. And it was fun destroying you guys. Well, Michigan State still destroying you. And it was fun beating you, Ohio State. See, because when Michigan is good, at the same time Ohio State is good, most of those times we win. You've beaten up on us when we've had a lot of bad teams. Same thing with Michigan State. When we've lost to them, we've had a lot of bad teams, a lot of bad coaching. Normally, every now and then, when both teams are good, Michigan State pulls out a win. Same thing with Ohio State. But the majority of the time, when Michigan has a very good team, we win. So, anyway, I digress. I wanted to talk about the Michigan-Oregon game, and then after that, I wanted to talk about the Ohio State game against Penn State. And you know what? James Franklin, Penn State fans, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. This dude he sucks when it comes to playing Ohio State and Michigan. He sucks in any big game. And I feel sorry for you guys. I really do. Because you guys have the talent. He seems to fumble the game when you don't think it's possible. There's no way Ohio State should have beat y'all. There's no way. But they did. And that's what we got to talk about. But before that, on the Michigan side, there was improvement. You saw improvement. It was a better called game by the OC, Kirk Campbell, but it still was a terribly called game. If you understand what I just said, it was a better called game, but it was still a terrible called game. Still losing 3 and 4 yards, 5 yards on first down, putting ourselves behind the 8 ball on second, and knowing that we are not a passing team, of any kind, basically going 3 and out. Substitutions when there shouldn't have been substitutions. But there was growth, especially playing Oregon without our 2 starting corners. I don't think we'll see Will Johnson the rest of this year. I'm not sure what's wrong with Jair Hill, but hopefully we get him back for the Indiana game because we're going to need him. Indiana is just, they're wrecking teams right now. They are completely running over teams right now. So he will be somebody that is very much needed against Indiana. As crazy as this sounds, Michigan actually looked like they belong on the field with Oregon. Now, I've heard what everybody else been saying, that Coach Moore lost the game, Kirk Campbell lost the game, Wink lost the game. They were actually in the game and had a chance to win. Man, let's be real. They never had a chance to win. They never had a chance to win. Never. I was happy that they were in the game. And it was a game that you could watch and feel okay about. They looked like they belong on the field, because when they played Texas, they did not look like that at all. It looked like a high school team against a college team. And Michigan's offense is so basic. I want to say it is like a high school offense. It really is. All these now. So we're passing the ball a little more, but there's so many quick passes. All these quick passes, we don't even have the receivers to break tackles and to make people miss. These quick passes are turning into 1-yard gains, 3-yard losses. We don't have an identity, and I don't know what Kirk Campbell is doing during the games. Like, I can't figure out what he is trying to accomplish. I really can't. I don't even think Khalil Mullins had 10 carries this game. Like, what's going on? How did we go from Khalil Mullins starting, needing the ball 25 times, to not even really seeing him with the ball in his hand? They did a couple nice things with Alex Orji, who is probably our second best runner behind Khalil Mullins. Donovan Edwards still looks lost at times. It's still hard for him to make one person miss. And, Davis Warren looked better. There were still basic throws. These are basic throws that he is just completely missing on. The defense still committing silly penalties, and it gets frustrating. It does. But they were in the game the whole game until maybe 6 minutes left to go in the game. But other than that, it was something that you could watch. I never, for 1 second, thought Michigan was going to win the game. But I wasn't disgusted. When they played Texas, I was disgusted. It was like, we shouldn't be outplayed this bad. Sharon Moore, he's got to take over the offensive play calling next year. He's got to. And he's got to get back online and coach that line. And the line has made strides. They've made strides. And people have to understand, they're not blocking 5 people. The line is blocking like 8 because the box is loaded. So it's hard to get a steady flow of yards when there's extra defenders in the box. That's why those quarterback runs were pretty good calls. Because even though you got all those people in the box, you have extra blockers when the quarterback is running the ball himself. Kind of levels the playing field. You know what I'm saying? So that was nice to see, and I hope they continue to do that. But at the end of the game, basically when they had to have a touchdown to actually try to get a onside kick and try to score again. Those last two plays were terrible. I don't know. Davis Warren was actually making, plays here and there. And to end the game where you have your wide receiver throwing the ball back to your quarterback who never even had a shot at catching the ball because it was thrown 5-6 yards out of bounds. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? What? This team is so hard to watch. Now, it is not Rich Rod bad. It's not Brady Hoke bad. Because those first couple teams from Rich Rod were terrible. Those teams were just hot garbage. They were bad. This team isn't like that. With the front four that we got, it keeps us in games. And while I'm talking about the front four, they need help. Guys, can you tell me what's happened to Makari Page? Every time he comes up to make a tackle, it's Ole. I don't know what he's tackling. He hugging himself. Every time somebody has the ball next to him, he ends up hugging his own self. Like, he is drastically killing his draft stock. Makari Page is terrible. We can't tackle. We can't rotate. People are left open. People are 12, 13, 14 yards off the line of scrimmage when they're covering somebody. Guys, only thing I can say is it's coaching. It's coaching. These players are not that bad. They're not, because they played a significant part last year of Michigan winning a national title. And it's like, poof, they forgot everything they were taught. I don't know. I don't have too much to say on that game. I mean, Michigan, they only had 11 first downs. Oregon had over 20. Michigan only had 270 yards. Oregon had almost 500. I don't know. Oregon had almost 200 yards rushing. Michigan had just over 100. It just gets to a point to where you're like, you know what? I just want the season to be over. And I never thought that this season would be like that. At worst, I thought maybe we'll lose 4 games. If we lost the big games, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, and then maybe somewhere in there lost a game we shouldn't have lost, or maybe we lose the bowl game where, that's the 4th loss. I was kind of thinking something like that. But this, on a brighter note, the basketball team looks very good. Yay, basketball. We're a basketball school right now. We will change next year. I'll have some recruiting news for you about some of the guys, some of the recruits that was at the Oregon game. Right now, Michigan has a top 10 class. I believe they're number 10 on 3. But, maybe if they can flip the big man, if they can flip Bryce Underwood and, the people, the wide receiver that's supposed to come with him, and you got just other people watching that, Michigan could end up with a top 3 class by the time it's all said and done. And yeah, the quarterback had to decommit. He had to. Carter Smith had to. But I believe he had to so that he could look out for himself. Just in case Bryce Underwood does commit, he's got somewhere else to go. But if Bryce Underwood does not commit, why couldn't he come back to Michigan? For all the people that's saying, he wanted to be at Michigan and he wanted to make a difference and he's out there recruiting. Guys, I understand it. I really do. But at a school like Michigan, there's supposed to be competition. And if you don't want to stay there because You may not start or may not ever get a chance to start. Okay. Okay. Let's keep it real. He wasn't going to start next year anyway. So why not stay committed? Why not get your red shirt, get your feet wet, get your red shirt, and see how it goes with Bryce Underwood? See how it goes with Jaden Davis. And then go from there. Hit the portal the next year. But just to, you know, and I understand his point of view, but my thing is, if you were that committed to Michigan, you knew you weren't going to play next year anyway. You were going to have the red shirt. So why decommit? Stay in the class. Stay in the class, red shirt, learn, and see what happens. See, you know, if there's any, you know, good fortune for you. You didn't have to decommit, but it is what it is. If we don't get Bryce Underwood and we lose him because he did not want the competition with Bryce, we've got Dave Portnoy's money to hit the portal and get a experienced, talented quarterback who's ready to go right now. Right now. So, you know, he's going to do what is best for him. And if he feels that's what's best for him, then, hey, by all means, do what's best for you. But my whole thing on it was, you know, okay, I can see him maybe saying he's decommitting, you know, to go to see what other offers he's had or he's going to have, visit other schools right quick to narrow things down. But if they can't flip Bryce, you could always come back. That's what I was thinking. You always come back. But the other thing is, like I said, you weren't going to start next year. You weren't going to play next year anyway. So why decommit? Just stay committed, man, and take your red shirt and see how everything goes that first year. But I will drop another video on the recruiting from Michigan side. This Oregon game, hey, they did what they came to do. They didn't have to score the last touchdown, but you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. You don't like it, stop it. So I look at it as 31-17, which is not bad, man. It's basically you lost by 2 touchdowns to the number 1 team in the country. And it wasn't like they weren't trying to score. They were. You know, the defense didn't play horrible. They just didn't have the help from the offense like normal. They didn't have enough. And when they were, the defense put in positions to get off the field, still committing silly penalties and giving up long third downs, still going on. So, you know, you just keep rooting for them, keep rooting for the guys. And, you know, we just get through this year, and I promise you things will be better next year. Things are going to be fixed through recruiting and through the portal. So it is what it is. Oregon came and they did what they were supposed to do. Congratulations, Oregon, to you. Congratulations to Coach Lanning. And hopefully you go and you beat Ohio State again. That's how I feel about the whole situation. Because James Franklin can't do it. Oh, man, you get so disgusted when you don't really care for Ohio State. And when they play teams that have them beat or that can beat them, and they strictly lose because of coaching. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's like he don't know whether when the right time is to go for it. He don't know when the right time is to kick a field goal. He is just bad. Some of these calls, I don't know where they come from offensively. They had Ohio State beat. They had them beat. They literally had them beat. And, like, what are they doing on offense, man? Where's Penn State's offense? You got 1 touchdown the whole game and it was a pick 6. What are you guys doing? Like, James Franklin is one of the worst big named coaches in America. He is a terrible coach. Penn State is too good of a school with the tradition they have and with the recruits that they bring in and how that stadium is packed every Saturday. The exposure they get on TV, Penn State is too good to stay with James Franklin. He's too good. Penn State is too good to stay with James Franklin. He is a terrible coach. And I don't understand why they keep re-upping this man. I don't understand how the donors continue to let this go on. It has to be a mindset. It has to be a mindset. That's one thing about Ohio State I can say. If you're not winning certain games or if certain things are going on that it shouldn't and the team looks terrible, oh, you're going to be held accountable. They're going to get rid of you. They're going to get rid of you. There is no tolerance for incompetence at Ohio State. And I wish Michigan was a little more like that. Penn State is not like that at all. See, Ohio State, they run with the big boys, okay? And Michigan just won a national title, so they're not only a big boy in brand name, they're the defending national champs. Penn State wants to be on that level so bad, but James Franklin keeps messing it up. You have a first and goal inside the 5-yard line. Why do you not run the ball 4 times? The plays that you chose to run were terrible plays. They were terrible. I'm like, you don't need creativity from the 2-yard line. You don't need an offensive lineman coming in motion from the 2-yard line. You need to tell your guys that this is the most important play right now up to this point this year. And all that two-a-days, all the extra workouts, all the running, all the stairs, that's what that's for. That moment right there. And it's amazing the incompetence that James Franklin has. And it's even more amazing that Penn State puts up with it. I don't know. Ohio State is not who they think they are. They're not. Plain and simple. If they were, I would say it. It does not hurt me to say when Ohio State is good. It does not hurt me to say when Ohio State is a national championship contender. It does not hurt me to say that I think Ohio State is going to beat Michigan by at least 14 points. And they're probably going to try to run up the score and win by 30. I don't have a problem saying that stuff when it's true. Ohio State should have lost this game. Plain and simple. And Ohio State is not who they think they are. Even with the $22 million NIL payroll, they are not who they think they are. And I believe they're going to get a rude awakening once they hit the playoffs. I really do. I could see Penn State going further than Ohio State in the playoffs because it seems like if they're not playing Michigan and Ohio State, they're making better choices on the field. And I mean the coaches. I don't know, man. One touchdown and it was defensive. You're at the time, 3rd ranked team in the country, and you can't score a touchdown on offense. You are the 3rd ranked team in the country, and you cannot score a offensive touchdown. I don't know. But yet and still, James Franklin will sit there and make excuses and call his team a very good team. And yes, sir, they are. They are a very good team. And if you weren't there and somebody else was that was competent, they would be a great team. A great team. You know how bad you are? I have no problem taking Coach Sharon Moore over James Franklin. I don't. I promise you I don't. Because Coach Moore has already shown to be competent in close games against big teams last year when he had the talent. When James Franklin has the talent, he is still incompetent. He is incompetent. Should have been Ohio State's second loss. Ended up being their seventh win, 20-13. And Ohio State keeps getting it done. Ohio State kind of reminds me of this year, Kansas City. Except Ohio State doesn't have any championships since 2014. 10 years, a decade, 2012, something like that. So, except for that, Kansas City can be outplayed and they can look like crap, but they always find a way to win. That's Ohio State. When Ohio State is being outplayed physically on the football field, it seems like just at a certain time, things go their way. And I don't know if it's incompetence, bad defense, a hold here, a pass interference here, a personal foul here. I don't know, but Ohio State gets lucky a lot. I'm not taking Ohio State guys. I'm not taking anything away from, how good you are. It just seems like when you guys play teams that are just as good and they should beat you, things happen. So I just, Penn State fans, man, I feel for you. I really do. I don't know what more to tell you. This guy literally lost the game for you guys. He literally did. All that play calling at the end of the game, that was complete garbage. Complete garbage. So I don't know. But I believe Ohio State will see Oregon again in the Big Ten Championship. And I still think Oregon's going to win. I'm still always going to pick Dylan Gabriel over whoever is playing for Ohio State. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. Will Howard. To me, in those key situations, you want somebody who is experienced as Dylan Gabriel is. I would rather have Ohio State's running backs. You know what? I made a video on that game before it happened. And in that game, when I was comparing different sides of the ball, look, you know what? Oregon's wide receivers are not that bad when it comes to comparing them against Ohio State. Oregon's receivers are right there. So, like I said, Penn State fans, I feel for you. I do. Y'all got to do something about that. Y'all got to do something. Because with the team he's got now, they're not going to be as good next year. You got people leaving that's a big part of that team. Important people on that defensive line and in the secondary and in the backfield. You got important people leaving, and it's going to be all bad. It really is. It's going to be all bad for you. But, hey, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in because you didn't have to. And like I said, if you like the content, please share the video. But hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime I drop anything new. But until then, you guys stay blessed.